kitchen. In today's show, I'll be making Swiss chard and mushroom lasagna, spinach and caramelized walnut salad, and classic tiramisu. We'll start off by making the tiramisu. For this recipe, I need 6 egg yolks and 4 egg whites. This is a real easy recipe to make tiramisu, and it's great. So 4 egg whites on the side. These are the ones that we're gonna save for later. And I will crack 2 more eggs just to get 2 more egg yolks. We only need the egg yolks. So we need a total of 6 egg yolks and 4 egg whites. And then what I would do is I will have all 6 eggs in the bowl of a mixing machine. Mix them. Until yellow in color and nice and smooth. To this, I will add 1 container, 16 ounces of mascarpone cheese. Mascarpone cheese, it's really nice and smooth and creamy cheese. It's almost like cream cheese. And you mostly find it in specialty stores like Italian stores, or sometimes you'll find them in your grocery stores in a special section where they sell international food. Mix this until nice and creamy. And to this, I'll add ½ cup of sugar. Scrape the sides. Want to make sure everything is nicely blended together. We'll continue mixing until nice and creamy. Now what I would do is I will set this on the side, and I will use another clean bowl. Have cleaned and washed and dried the beater. Now I'm gonna beat the egg whites until nice and foamy. Look how nice and stiff the egg whites are. This looks good. And now what I would do is I will add it to the egg white and cheese mixture in 2-2 addition. Gently, I'll fold the egg white with the egg yolk and cheese mixture. We don't want to break the whipped egg white, so just gently We'll add a little bit more and we'll mix again. When making tiramisu, we want to make sure we use fresh eggs because we are not cooking the eggs. So we want to make sure that they are fresh, and even if you can find organic, it's even better. Okay, this looks good. We'll set this on the side. Now we are ready to assemble the tiramisu. For this recipe, I need 2 cups of strong room temperature coffee. This is coffee that I had in the morning. It's nice and dark. And half cup of Kahlua. It's coffee flavored liqueur. And now I have some lady fingers here. So what I would do is I will dip both sides just for a second, just dip them and remove them quickly from the coffee mixture and arrange them on this dish. We want to make sure they line up next to each other without leaving any spaces in between them, so they'll be nice and fitted next to each other. I'll be using about 8 on each row. There we go. They really need to be nice and no space in between them, sitting nicely next to each other. And then we'll go with the second row. You can make the lady fingers or you can buy them. Again, you find them in many Italian markets or in specialty stores in the international section. Okay, one last one, and this covers the whole bottom of the dish. Now I'll add half of our egg cheese mixture on top of the lady fingers. Spread it in an even layer over the lady fingers dipped in coffee. And then I'll sprinkle some cocoa powder on top of the cream mixture. To cover the entire surface. This is unsweetened cocoa powder. We will repeat layering the lady fingers with the cream on top of the first layer. So quickly, we will go ahead and dip all the lady fingers in coffee mixture and arrange them on top of the first layer of cream. Now we'll add the remaining cheese and egg mixture on top of the second layer of lady fingers. Make sure it's evenly covered. And we'll do the same thing. Sprinkle some unsweetened cocoa powder on top. And then finally, I will grate some chocolate on top. I like using dark chocolate with this recipe. First of all, dark chocolate is healthier for you. It's high of antioxidants, and it goes very, very well with the tiramisu. So whenever you have chance to use dark chocolate, it'll be great to use it, especially with the tiramisu. Just gonna grate some of this baking chocolate on top. Now, the tiramisu, it's all ready. It's all nice and layered. And now it's gonna go in the fridge for about 4 to 6 hours until set. Now we are ready to start making the lasagna. This recipe calls for a white sauce. There is no red sauce. Normally a lasagna will come with a red sauce. This one will have a white sauce. White sauce is made with ½ cup olive oil, we'll heat it up in the saucepan. To this, we'll add 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, keep mixing it. We don't want to have any lumps in the sauce. So this looks good. To this, I'll add 2½ cups of milk, slowly. I have the milk heated with 2 bay leaves inside it, just to give it some flavor. Don't want to use the bay leaves. And then we'll mix until nice and thick. And to this, I'll add ½ teaspoon salt, ½ teaspoon red pepper flakes, and ½ teaspoon black pepper. And we'll keep mixing constantly to form a nice thick sauce. The sauce is nice and thick, and you'll know it's ready. Turn this off by checking it with the back of the spoon. If it's got stuck on it, that means it's nice and thick. We'll have this on the side to cool off. Now we are ready to prepare the Swiss chard. We need to get only the leaf part out. So we'll cut it in half and we'll remove the rib out. We don't need those. I'm using 1 pound of Swiss chard. Only the leaf part. I'll chop it roughly And then I have a pot of boiling water ready. We'll just gonna blanch it, and you're just gonna leave it in the boiling water just for a minute to blanch. Maybe another minute or so. Now we are ready to remove the blanched Swiss chard. We'll transfer it to this sieve to drain all the water. And now we'll add the other batch. I have boiled some water to cook the lasagna with. Add some salt to the water and some olive oil. This will prevent it from sticking to each other. And now I'll add the lasagna. And we'll let it cook until nice and tender. The lasagna is nice and tender. We'll remove it from the pot and we'll transfer it to this bowl to cool off. We want to be careful. We don't want to break the noodles. And we'll set them on the side to cool off. Now I have to chop one onion. Now we are ready to prepare the other layers of the lasagna that goes in between the noodles and in between the sauce and the cheese. Roughly, I'll chop one large onion. And I'll have some olive oil in my sauté pan, about 3 to 4 tablespoons. I'll sauté the onion. To this, I'll add 3 cloves of garlic. That's good. The onion is nice and golden. And to this, I will add a little bit of salt and a little bit of black pepper just to season it. And then I'll add the drained, blanched, chopped Swiss chard to this. Sauté. for a minute or two. This looks good. I'll transfer it to this bowl. We don't want to overcook the Swiss chard. We just want to reduce it and make sure it's nice and tender. It's going to finish cooking with the lasagna when it's baking in the oven. I will add 3 garlic cloves. Saute and set on the side. Now we can chop the mushrooms. I'm using 8 ounces package of button mushroom. You can use any kind of mushroom you like. Garlic is nice and golden. We'll add the chopped mushrooms. And we'll saute until nice and tender. And the mushrooms are nice and tender. They smell really, really good. Turn the heat off and we'll transfer them to this glass bowl to cool off. Now I'm ready to assemble the lasagna. I have all the layers nice and ready. The sauce is ready, the mushrooms are ready, the Swiss chard is ready, the lasagna noodles all cooked. I have all my cheeses here, except I need 6 ounces of fontina cheese, shredded. So I'll have this one ready. I like using fontina cheese because it's still sharp and it's very, very easy to melt. It has some sharpness to it. If you don't like fontina cheese, you can always use mozzarella cheese. Before I start adding any layers, I'll brush the lasagna casserole with some olive oil. Into this, I'll add a few tablespoons of the sauce that we made. Spread it evenly on the bottom. Then I'll add about 3 pieces of the lasagna noodles, overlapping each other as a first layer. Looks good. I'll add of the mushroom mixture. Spread this evenly, and half of the Swiss chard mixture. Spread this evenly. Then I have 16 ounces, 1 pound of ricotta cheese. I'll just put a few spoons. Add half of it on this layer. I like using fresh ricotta cheese for this recipe. You just wanna kind of spread it in an even layer. Looks good. Then I'll sprinkle half of the fontina cheese on top in an even layer. Some grated parmesan cheese. I'm using half cup for this recipe, so I'll just use about 1 to 2 tablespoons for this. And then some of the white sauce that we made. You can also use tomato sauce for this recipe too, if you don't want to use the white sauce. It will work too. And now we'll repeat layering. One more layer. The remaining of the mushrooms. Spread it evenly. And Swiss chard. Smells really good. This is really a nice vegetarian dish for any time of the week. If you're trying to stay away from meat or chicken, it has so many nice flavors and it's very rich. Having this many ingredients in this lasagna, you don't even need to use any sausage or meat. And this is a good way also to incorporate all the vegetables in your dishes. And this is one of the many dishes that will allow you to almost hide these vegetables in it. It's going to be so good. You don't even think there'll be this many vegetables in it. We'll sprinkle the remaining of the fontina cheese on top. You need the whole thing. Okay, so some more freshly grated parmesan cheese, and then some more sauce. On top, and we'll add one last layer of noodles on top. I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. I'll bake the lasagna in the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes until heated through. are ready to make the caramelized walnuts for our spinach salad. To this recipe, I need 2 tablespoons of butter, we'll melt the butter. Then to this, the butter is almost melted. To this, I'll add 2 cups of walnut halves. Stir. Make sure everything is coated with the butter. And just let it saute for about a minute or so. And to this, I'll add ½ cup of sugar. Stir. We'll cook it until the sugar is all melted and it's caramelized. Now the walnuts are nice and caramelized. Look how golden and beautiful they look. They look incredible. They smell amazing too. So this is good. I will spread them in this baking sheet lined with parchment paper. And we'll set them aside to cool off, and then we'll break them apart. Now we will check on our lasagna. It's been in the oven for about 35 minutes. I'll sprinkle some more parmesan on top. So we can have that nice and golden crust on top. And it's going to go back in the oven for about 10 to 15 more minutes until golden brown. Check on our lasagna. Look how beautiful it looks. Nice and bubbly. And it's ready. It smells amazing. Look how beautiful it looks. We'll set it on the side to cool off for about 10 to 15 minutes before we slice it. While we are waiting for the lasagna to cool off before we serve it, I will prepare the spinach salad. I have some baby spinach that's already washed and dried. About 1 bag, that's about 10 ounces. Looks very good. And to this, I'll slice some red onion. This is a great salad. Spinach is very healthy for you. It's full of iron and vitamin B, and this is a great way to eat spinach if you don't like to have cooked spinach. So we'll just sprinkle some red onion on top. And then this looks good. I'll slice some red grapes in half and just sprinkle it on top. About maybe ½ cup to 1 cup of red grapes cut in half. The sweetness of the grapes will balance out the onion and the spinach and the vinegar that I'm going to use for the dressing. It's a great way to use it. Then to this, I'll break some of that caramelized walnuts that we use into small pieces. Just sprinkle on top. And then I will just shave some fontina cheese on top. Small pieces, not that much. You could use parmesan cheese if you like. That should be good. And then some extra virgin olive oil on top. And some apple cider vinegar. It's real simple dressing. Some salt to season. And some black pepper to season. Look how wonderful the salad is. It's an amazing, it's a whole meal by itself. It's my favorite salad. Layers of the lasagna. Smells amazing. Smells really good. The Swiss chard, the mushroom, the cheese, the white sauce, it's amazing. Slice of tiramisu. It's really good. This is how much time we have for today. In today's show, we made Swiss chard and mushroom lasagna. We made classic tiramisu and spinach caramelized walnut salad. Thank you so much for coming to my kitchen. We hope to see you next time with more exotic dishes.